so we're doing 7.4 factoring trinomials. You will need to do this on notebook paper and title it 7.4 factoring trinomials, and you need to number it. And we covered a little bit yesterday toward the end of class, but we need to do more notes so that way it's in more detail and to make sure you understand it. Okay, so make sure you take your notes on notebook paper, and then you're going to enter in your answers into Ed Puzzle. You're going to have a homework assignment tonight. It's over 7.3 special products, so it's over the previous section, not this new section, and it will be due at the beginning of class tomorrow. Also, make sure you show your work on a separate piece of paper, and you will staple it to it when you're done. All right, so we're factoring trinomials of the form x squared plus bx plus c. This is where a is equal to 1. Okay? All right, so let's discuss standard form versus factored form. All right, so standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, an example would be x squared plus 4x plus 4. That's standard form. Factored form is x plus a times x plus b. Okay, and you should be writing this down on your paper, okay, just like I am. This expression here in standard form, if I were to put it in factored form, it would look like this. X plus 2 times x plus 2. Okay, these represent the same expression. This one's just in standard form, and this one's in factored form. And to show you that it actually works, let's multiply this out. So we would distribute the x. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 2 is 4. So we got x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 4. Combine your like terms, you get x squared plus 4x plus 4. Okay? So see how they're the same expression once you multiply it out? So we've got standard, factored. All right, so let's do an example. It says factor x squared plus 10x plus 16. So this number, you get it by multiplying. And then this number is the number you get when you combine the like terms, when you add them together. So we're going to find two numbers that when you multiply them, you get 16. And when you add them, you get 10. So we're looking for factors of positive 16 that have a sum of positive 10. All right, so factors of positive 16 would be 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 3 is not a factor, so you have 4 and 4. Okay, and now we just add these together. 1 plus 16 is 17, 2 plus 8 is 10, and once you get your answer, once you find your answer, you do not have to keep going. See how I got 10? I can stop because that's the answer I needed. So my two factors I'm going to use are 2 and 8. So this expression in factored form would be x plus 2 times x plus 8. And you can always check your answer. You can go back and multiply this out to check to make sure you're correctly. And I recommend doing this on every problem, especially quizzes and tests, just to make sure you got the correct answer. So you can do x times x and get x squared. X times 8, you get 8x. 2 times x, you get 2x. And 2 times 8, you get 16. Okay, see how I got the 16 by multiplying 2 times 8? Now here, if you combine your like terms, 8x plus 2x, you get 10x. So see how I added those together? That's why you do the sum of 10, because you add these together to get your like term. You add your like terms together. All right, so that would be my actual answer, x plus 2 times x plus 8. That would be factored form. Okay, let's try this one. X squared plus 7x plus 6. We're looking for factors of 6 that have a sum of 7. Okay. Factors of 6 are 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. What is 1 plus 6? Perfect, 7. And that's the number I want, so I'm done. So it's 1 and 6. Okay, so how would that be written in factored form? Yeah, so it'd be x plus 1 times x plus 6. All right, try this one here on your own. Factor it out, get your answer, type your answer into Edpuzzle. If it's correct, you're good to go. If it's incorrect, you need to rework it until you get the correct answer. If you can't get the correct answer, you can raise your hand and the teacher will be able to help you. Okay, let's try this one. What if there's a negative in there? What if this sign here is positive and the front one's negative? Okay? So what this means is you have to have two numbers that when you multiply them together, you get positive, but when you add, you get negative. Well, in order to get a positive, you would have to do like 1 times 4. That's positive 4. But you could also do negative 1 times negative 4. Anytime you multiply a negative times a negative, that would be a positive. Okay? So you could have 2 positives or 2 negatives to get a positive number when you multiply them. Well, the only one that would get you to get a negative when you add them is 2 negatives. Okay? So your 2 factors are going to have to be negative. So you're going to have 2 negative factors. All right, so we're looking at factors of 3 that have a sum of negative 4. Okay? And the only way to get a positive number when you multiply and a negative number when you add them is if they're both negative. Okay, so I've got negative 1 and negative 3, and that's it. All right, negative 1 plus negative 3 is indeed negative 4. Okay, so my factors would be x minus 1 times x minus 3. All right, let's try this one. Factors of positive 35 that add up to negative 12. Okay. Notice this is a W rather than an X. So everything's the same until your final answer. You would just use a W instead of an X. Okay. All right, so they're going to have to both be negative. So that would be factors of 35, negative 1 and negative 35. Negative 5 and negative 7. And that's all of our factors. So let's add them together. Negative 1 plus negative 35, what would that be? Yeah, so negative 36. And negative 5 plus negative 7 is negative 12. So this would be my answer. So what would that look like in factored form? Okay. Yeah, so that would be x minus 5 times x minus 7. All right. Oh, go back to that. Sorry, I made a mistake on the previous one. Instead of that being x minus 5 and x minus 7, I did exactly what I told you not to do. That would actually be w minus 5 times w minus 7. Okay, all right, let's do the next one. This one I need you to do on your own. P squared minus 12p plus 27. Make sure you use a p and not an x. And once you type in your answer, make sure and check it to make sure it's correct. All right, let's try this one. What if this back number is a negative? Okay, so you need a number that multiplies to get negative 21. Well, if you had both positives, it would be positive. Negative 1 times negative 21 would be positive 21. So in order to make it a negative 21, you need one of them to be positive and one to be negative. So it would be like 1 times negative 21 or negative 1 times positive 21. All right, so let's do factors of negative 21 that add up to positive 4, that have a sum of positive 4. Okay, So remember, one's got to be positive and one's got to be negative in order for it to be negative 21. So you've got 1 and negative 21, negative 1 and positive 21, 3 and 7, or sorry, negative 7, and negative 3 and positive 7. Okay, and let's add these together. 1 and negative 21, that would be negative 20. Negative 1 and positive 21 would be positive 20. 3 and negative 7, that's negative 4. And negative 3 and positive 7 is positive 4. So we would use these. So x minus 3 times x plus 7. Okay. Try this one. X squared plus 13x minus 30. So factors of negative 30 that have a sum of positive 13. Okay. All right, so what are factors of 30? Okay, yeah, so you've got 1 and 10, 2 and 15, 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, and 5 and 6. But since it's negative 30, one has to be negative and one has to be positive. So for instance, 1 and negative 30, negative 1 and positive 30, 2 and negative 15, negative 2 and positive 15, 3 and 10, or negative 10, negative 3 and positive 10, 5 and negative 6, and negative 5 and positive 6. Okay, so it's like you're listing the factors twice, and you're just switching which one's negative. All right, what do these two add up to be? Yeah, so it's negative 29, and the next one would be positive 29. 2 and negative 15 would be negative 13. So negative 2 and positive 15 would be positive 13. And I've got my answer, so I can stop. I don't have to go through and do the others because I already know which one it's going to be. So that's going to be x minus 2 times x plus 15. All right, let's try this one. This one needs to be factors of negative 42 that have a sum of negative 1. Okay, so you've got 1 and negative 42, negative 1 and positive 42, 2 and negative 21, negative 2 and positive 21, 3 and 14, make that a negative, negative 3 and positive 14, 6 and negative 7, and negative 6 and positive 7. Okay, and let's add them together. That would be negative 41, positive 41, negative 19, positive 19, negative 11, positive 11, negative 1. Oh, that's my answer. So it would be 6 and negative 7. So x plus 6 times x minus 7. All right, try this one on your own and type your answer into Edpuzzle. And when you're finished, make sure you check to see that it's correct. And if it's not correct, please fix it. And if you have questions, let me know. Y'all are finished. Thank you and have a good day. Don't forget to get your worksheet to complete this homework.